you do realize the problems that arise when one examines your religion and truth. Now, ultimately, I'm talking about all religions. But here I will talk about that which I talk about the most, which is Christianity. You know the problems. You know they're there. And you know the truth of this. And that is why you try so hard to make it work, no matter what. You have to self-hypnotize yourself, tell you how great Jesus is, God is. You have to repeat it over and over and over again. You have to go be amongst others who are doing the same thing, repeating it over and over again, self-hypnotizing, self-convincing. And then y'all get together and help convince each other. And I feel secure in the masses because so many of you. So we must all not be wrong. Because there's so many of us. And it's not that you are wrong, it's that you are in an error. And the error is the lack of truth. And where you are in wrong, it's because you are not in truth. And you make up songs to sing. You're constantly trying to keep yourself in it because you know if you were to stop and think, you know what's there. You know what's in the back of your mind. Every time you read something, every time you question, every time it's there to put doubt within your religion, your God, and your Savior. There is a small question. Now, it matters not that you recognize it consciously, subconsciously. It automatically computes by way of a known and readily used process, the process of questioning. You've done it your whole life. That's how you learned. You questioned. That's one of your first activities after being able to talk is question. Why? So that's back there. And as you grew, you still questioned. But sometimes you stopped questioning as much. You didn't care about some things. Just the desire to question randomly went away. And then in some instances, you turn off the questioning with those things that you choose to believe and be amongst the crowd and others with. So you turn it off, but it's there. And so you turn from this. Once again, it doesn't hold together. It doesn't hold together in so many ways. Because there is an iota of doubt. It has not moved beyond that shadow of death, which is the shadow of doubt. Your God has not proven itself to exist and be. This thing your God requires you to believe, just to believe in his very existence. He won't even show himself. He requires all aspects of his service to be based upon belief. All these words have been offered to you. You must discern them. You must figure them out. You must create ideas based on them. You must look past the contradiction. You must look past the flaws. Of course, there's flaws. There's flaws in speech. And there's flaws in definition, meaning, full scope, and being. For instance, for God so loved the world. I won't give the rest. For God so loved the world, which speaks to a level of love. It speaks to a quantifying and qualifying love. So is, what is that? What is so? So is a adverb, pronoun, one of those. So speaks to a quantity. So much. God so loved the world. God loved it so much, and one would have to imagine that God's love is greater than any other love that could exist. But one can imagine that. But no one know that in truth. I'm sure you would speak to this. I'm sure you would say that your God, your Savior, loves everybody beyond any person, thing that could ever exist. That God is love. You say that they are love, so love is based off of them. The standard of love, the depth, the deepness, the extent, the truth of love is set forth in truth by God, by what God is. I love. Everything else is weighed against it. That is the standard. So everything else will fall short because you can't reach up to God. Once you reach up to God, is only with coming one with God and being God. There's truth, there's belief, and there's getting up there. Once you belief can never reach up to truth. It can only pass beyond belief and become truth. It's the same with God. So God so loved the world, ... And yet one can imagine better. For I'm certain you would say that you love whatever family member, whatever friend, whatever pet, so much that you will not want them to suffer. And if you could keep them from suffering, you would do it. If you had the power to stop them from suffering, beyond saying, hey, don't touch that stove, and then allowing them to go over there and experience it in them stoves, and even then at a certain point you say, don't do that. Don't do that. But if you could get rid of the flame on that stove and cook by other means without a heat that burns, you would. Yes. Out of safety and love. If you can prevent all the pain and suffering of your loved one, you would. If you could do it with the snap of a finger, you would. You would, right? I mean, you would, right? Or else you wouldn't. And if you would, then God, at the least, God coming down from his great standard of being love, that love, God is love, that love, the Lord's gift is to you. And if that's what you give, then his has to be at least this much better. So if you would prevent all pain and suffering, if you had ability to just completely and totally remove it, whatsoever, if you would do that, then God will have to do that. And yet your God doesn't. For God so loved the world and his children that he even have any. For God so loved the world, his creation, that he even created. Because he knew the pain and suffering that was going to be experienced. Even if he told him to touch that fire, he was going to do it anyway. He could have did that. It does not hold up to the highest standard, to the highest quality. It shows in truth. This is not I. This is the truth speaking to standards set forth by yourself. Now we know you love to be a hypocrite, but it even goes beyond your hypocrisy and it shows in truth. Didn't have to have any of this. And if you wanted to create it, you still wanted to, you could have did it without the pain and suffering. If you wanted your happiness, if you truly loved you, and you know what's back there in the back of your mind. Stop fighting. Truth is salvation.